Welcome to Ellis Realty Group Unlocked.
Today's episode, Hidden Shields. Understanding the role of the title company with your host, Tyrone McCloud, and special guest, Richard Ransom Jr., owner and founder of Collegiate Title Corporation.
Thanks for tuning in. You're watching Ellis Realty Group Unlocked. The name of this segment is Hidden Shields, and I'm your host, Tyrone McCloud. Today we're going to be discussing how real estate title insurance saves real estate deals. And here with me today is Mr. Richard Ransom Jr. of Collegiate Title Corporation. Thank you very much for being here with us. A little bit of your background, a little bit of your company, Collegiate Title, and let's give the people some information on title insurance and how you started and your calling to this field.
Sure. Thank you very much. I'm not a public speaker. The majority of my job is searching public records. So I could be in the file rooms looking for deeds, looking for mortgages and what have you. So I have a little cheat sheet here. You see me looking down. So I want to make sure I'm on target and
Okay.
on point. All right. As Mr. McCloud said, my name is Richard Ransom. I am the owner of Collegiate Title Corporation. I started the company back in 1995. So we've been around for 30 years. Title insurance is something that the buyer does not see us until the very end. We are searching to make sure that the seller has the ability to convey title or convey ownership of the property, free and clear of any liens, encumbrances that may carry over or be attached to the property. So we are in my opinion, of all the transactions or all the players in the formula of selling properties, I think that we are the most important one.
Okay.
That's what I say, because we are the watchdogs. We are the ones
Right.
to make sure that that everything is going to go right and that the seller is conveying free and clear title.
Okay.
Background: I'm a graduate of Realty University. After that, by graduation, I taught school for 5 years at Permanent Township. I was a group vice president for Mid-Atlantic Bank, which is now called PNC. I was a corporate account executive for PHH US Mortgage. And then I started the title company back in 1995. So that's a little background of me and what I do or how I got to where I am.
For those people who are not familiar with what title insurance is and the importance of it, can you expand on what the importance of having title insurance is?
Okay.
And what is it exactly?
What is title insurance?
Yes.
That's a good question. Title insurance is ensuring that the seller is conveying marketable title, which is free and clear of all claims, rights of others, and potential litigations. So, like I said before, we're making sure that when we are conveying title, that the owner is receiving the property free and clear or in fee simple, which means that there is nothing against the property, and that the once the buyer acquires the property, they have the right to give a lien or a mortgage to the lender. The lender always wants to be in first lien position, and that there's no one else in front of the lender for their mortgage lien.
This is truly a hidden shield, a protection for the buyers.
It's a protection for the buyers. It is also a way for the buyer to have a level of confidence and comfort that once they take ownership of the property, no one else has an ownership interest in the property. Right. Liens, encumbrances, mortgage, or what have you.
Some of the concerns that buyers have is that when they buy a house, they assume that this property is unequivocally theirs. What kind of challenges, have you seen or misconceptions have you seen about having title insurance? And do I own my property?
Even though we do a thorough and comprehensive search of the public records, there are always going to be or could be a potential exposure. Could be tax liens, could be forged signatures in the chain of title. There could be errors that when the county clerk was recording, they could have misindexed something. So even with the best search, there could be something that comes out. Could be claims of a missing error that no one knew about. So title insurance is really it is a assurance of risk elimination. We're trying to
Okay.
eliminate all the risks or any less risk that may be out there, any potential cause for a claim, and that's what we do.
Richard, can you walk us through the process of title insurance, title search, ownership, and things like that? Tell me what your process is like when you want to insure a title.
And you mentioned about what could some things that the buyer would have an issue with if there was
Hmm.
not having title insurance. Well, some of the things that we come across and that could be potential common issues with title insurance, uh, open tax liens could
Mm.
be an issue.
Okay.
I just wrote down a couple of things:
Hmm.
fraud, false impersonations, forged signatures in the claim in the chain of title, recording errors that we spoke about briefly before,
Hmm.
title search errors from prior searches, and or no title search done at all. If somebody is conveying a property,
Hmm.
they if they don't have a lender, they don't have to get title insurance. So let's say that
Hmm.
someone on the street is saying, "Well, I'll sell you my property for $1,000 or $10,000."
Oh, okay.
They can just uh, uh, sign a deed over to that person
Hmm.
and not do any title insurance. The problem with that is there
Mm.
could be liens against that property that the buyer never is not aware of because no
Right.
search was done.
Right.
So it's always incumbent of the buyer to
Hmm.
always do a title search, and so that way they know there's nothing against it. If somebody on the street conveys title, it could be a less pendants on there, meaning that
Mm.
there could be uh, uh, grounds or movement for a foreclosure. Uh, so there's various things that that a buyer should be aware of when they
Okay.
are purchasing property. Walk you through the process. Okay.
Hmm.
First thing that we do in the very beginning of the process, we're going to confirm um, who the sellers are.
Okay.
Because I think at the very beginning of when you are doing a contract, uh, the realtors are not required to vet the sellers.
True.
So that's what we do. We're vetting the sellers. We're making
Hmm.
sure that who they are and that they are able to convey. And then we go and do searches. And we're going to search different venues,
Hmm.
the public venues, to make sure that there are no liens. Now, I want to search U.S. district courts, bankruptcy courts, superior court, surrogate court, and
Hmm.
municipalities. And what I'm looking for any deeds, mortgages, financing statements, tax liens, reimbursement statements, county judgments, mechanics liens, less pendants, institutional liens, stop notices, notice of settlement. I mentioned notice of settlement. That's very important.
Hmm.
I just want to stop here for a second, Tyler, if you
Okay.
don't mind. There was a situation a couple of years ago where a person uh, took a loan on the same property with three different lenders
Mm.
because they didn't go back and check notice of settlement, the settlement notices to see if another title company was in the process of closing that transaction.
Hmm.
So you have a little gap there. And even though you have that gap, you want to make sure that this person, this seller, is not trying to sell this property three or four different times.
Right. Right. Right.
So that's certain
Okay.
things that we look for. We look for a notice of settlement.
Hmm.
In the surrogate's office, which is where you go when deeds are coming from an estate, we look for certain things also in there. We got to make sure that if there is a will,
Okay.
the will was probated.
Okay.
And that's if a person has a will, it means they died testate. If they
Mm.
don't have a will, I mean they
Hmm.
died intestate.
Hmm.
If you die with a will, then your will's going to name a executive
Okay.
who's going to follow out the request or the demands of the will.
Hmm.
They're going to go through and they're going to convey the property and convey personal items to family members or whoever. And the decedent is we're trying to follow, or the executive is going to follow the wills and the
Hmm.
desires of that decedent when they die. And that's done through following the orders of the will. Circuit office is going to verify that the will is properly produced. They're going to make sure that they review the death certificate. They're going to issue short certificates so that you
Hmm.
convey a car or whatever. Also, when a person dies with a will, they're going to issue letters of testamentary.
Okay.
If they die without a will or intestate, the circuit's
Mhm.
office is going to issue letters of administration. You got to keep in mind that if you die intestate,
Mhm.
then the property and the goods of personal goods are going to be conveyed through statutes of New Jersey,
Okay.
not through the wishes of what the decedent said. A lot of times you may hear that
Mhm.
someone would say, "Well, Grandma wanted me to have the house," without a will. Well,
Okay.
you won't know that
That's not
because
recorded.
not recorded.
Okay.
If they die intestate without a will, we're going
Mhm.
to ask for affidavit of heirs.
Okay.
We're going to ask for who are the children, who are
Mhm.
possible grandchildren. So we're going to see who are the ones who are capable of conveying that property.
Okay. I see.
Also, the circuit's office is going to issue letters of administration saying that this person is going to be authorized to do certain things. A lot of times when they die intestate, the circuit's office is going to make
Mhm.
sure or is going to demand that that person have a bond.
Awesome.
Why?
Okay.
We
Okay.
want that bond just to make sure that that person who is the administrator is not going to incorporate the property which they're supposed to convey with their personal property. I want to make
Mhm.
sure that they are going to do exactly what they're supposed to do. Okay, I want a little bit more detail with that, but
Okay.
I just
All
want to
right.
make sure that you know that the audience understands that somebody dies, you can die testate with a
Right.
will,
Right.
intestate without a will.
And this is all included in, your process when you're trying to
Right.
convey title.
When
Okay.
we are searching, right.
Search and title.
We
Okay.
also go into the bankruptcy courts
Mhm.
to make sure if there was a bankruptcy, we identify if it was approved, dismissal, what have you. Motor vehicle surcharges, child support. Child support is a
Okay.
big issue because
Mhm.
years ago, we could escrow for child support.
Right. Right.
You can't escrow for child support. Child support either has to be closed or brought current.
Okay.
You can't escrow for that. Institutional liens, if they were in a hospital somewhere, institutional hospital, that all those bills have been paid. Federal tax liens,
Mm.
state liens, etc. That's what we look for. That's part of our search. We also go in, and that's where we look for the New Jersey Superior Court, District Court.
Okay.
All right. We also go to the municipalities to look for certain things as
Right.
far as open taxes, first, second, third, fourth taxes, if they have been paid. We look
Okay.
for open war sort of MUAs, uh, tax sale certificates, because if somebody doesn't pay their taxes,
Mhm.
then the municipality can sell a tax certificate to someone. So these are things that we do at the very beginning of the process. These are called our title searches. We are going in to look at anything that is associated with that property, anything that's associated with the owners of that property, to
Okay.
make sure there's no judgments against the owner of the property. If they have a judgment that is a record, that judgment has to be identified, has to
Mhm.
be paid off in full, because that judgment could attach to the property. We want to make sure there's no judgment against that.
All right.
I know I
No,
went through a lot of detail with that.
no, that was great. Thank you, Richard. We're going to take a short break here, and we're going to hear a word from our sponsors.
At Ellis Realty Group, we're not just about transactions, we're about relationships. Real estate is personal, and we treat it that way. As a boutique brokerage, we offer something the big brands can't. Genuine local expertise, hands-on support, and a commitment to doing what's best for you. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, we bring unmatched attention to detail, strategy, and care to every step of the process. Ellis Realty Group, where experience meets excellence. Real estate redefined.
We are back with Richard Ransom Jr. discussing the importance of title insurance. So, Richard, where we left off at, you walked us through how do you go about conducting title searches and things like that. So, in this next segment, I want to move into with the advances of technology. How has that changed the way that you go about doing your searches?
In New Jersey, most significant changes over the past decade has come from digitalization and e-recording. which means that we can do things electronically. On the county level, which are the most important levels that we focus on, all 21 counties in New Jersey now accept or are transitioning to e-recording, allowing the title companies to record documents electronically. That's title companies, attorneys, lenders, submitting documents electronically. Recording times has significantly improved because
Okay.
now we don't have to send them out UPS or have one of my employees go to the county and hand deliver it. Now we can do it
Okay.
electronically. When we first got into the business, that's what we were doing. Every morning,
Mm-hmm.
either I or one of my staff would go to the county, different counties,
Okay.
and we would hand deliver, or we would send it out UPS to the county clerks for that to happen. Now recording times have been significantly improved. What once took days or weeks now takes 24 hours, and we can see something that has been recorded within 24 hours. Deed, mortgages, or what have you.
So this means now you have the ability to like scan documents, email them securely, and things
Right,
like that.
right.
Okay.
Through certain, like I said, uh, programs that we can scan
Mm-hmm.
documents in. Okay.
So it seems like, I mean, there's been advancements, but the industry, like as a whole, on all the different levels, has not really caught up just yet.
But
But there's improvements.
they're moving in the right direction.
Okay, that is good to hear.
Now, still documents that have been recorded 30 or 60 years ago, we still have to go into the courthouses or to the county clerk's office and to retrieve that information. A lot of that stuff is still hand entered.
Okay.
Some of the old documents, so sometimes we look at documents that are written in the 1800s.
Wow.
So we're going to go back. Our normal search is 60 years, but there are times that we have to go back further, and you'll be surprised at what we find and what we see when we go back. Different restrictions that were evident or that was very commonplace in deeds. I remember reading one deed where it said that they could not sell the property to Negroes.
Okay.
And even though that's in the deed, it's not enforceable.
Right.
But
Right.
it's still in these old deeds. Or it may say that the property, when they're looking at the legal description, it's so many chains and 2 links.
Right.
So now we got to go back and convert that over to meets and bounds description. So it's getting better, and I think that as time goes on, we will see improvements, especially with AI coming about.
Right.
We're going to see a lot more of the searching being aided by AI.
Yeah. Awesome. Can you give us some real life examples? I'm sure in your 30 years you have several, but let's give us one or two real life examples of how title insurance have saved a homeowner from significant financial loss.
Okay, to me, any loss
Exactly. Okay.
is significant.
Mm-hmm.
All right. One comes to mind, which is very recent. It was I had to write it down because I want to make sure that property was owned by a husband, a wife, and the wife's mother. Okay.
Okay.
The wife's mother was needed because the husband and wife could not qualify without the mother's credit.
So she's co-signed.
She's co-signing.
Okay.
All right. Wife dies.
Mm.
All right. So now the ownership is now in the husband and the mother-in-law. Husband listed the property for sale by owner.
Okay.
Found a buyer, and they entered into a contract. Husband and mother-in-law as the sellers. The buyer's attorney wanted to be helpful in the transaction. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. All right. However, we were trying to identify who the players were. We go back.
Okay.
We wanted to identify the husband, who they were, and establish their identity that they could convey. And we also wanted to establish the identity of the mother-in-law, that who she was, where she is, and what have you, ID, whatever. All right. Husband and girlfriend said that the mother-in-law was incapacitated. They said that the mother-in-law was in a home, nursing home, and that she had dementia, and that she could not communicate with anybody.
Okay.
Well, that's a problem right there.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to look at if they have a power of attorney, which is going, and we got to look at what the power of attorney says.
Mm.
But every time that we try to get in contact with the husband to get more information on the mother-in-law, husband will not call us back.
Mm.
Red flag. That's a warning sign.
Okay.
All right. Husband would not call us back. We said that we had to talk to him and
Mm-hmm.
talk to the mother-in-law. So finally, the husband did call, but the husband was very irate.
Mm.
He wanted to know why we need information on the mother-in-law. He wanted to know why we had that information on him. Well, we need that. When he was very irate, then what are you hiding? Time for us to dig a little further in what's going on. Mother-in-law's in a nursing home. What's the name of the nursing home?
Right.
Where's it located?
Mm-hmm.
What is the address? What is the telephone number?
Mm-hmm.
What is the name and phone number for the treating physician who's dealing with the mother-in-law? The husband said, "We're digging too deeply.
Mm. Okay.
That they want to stop the transaction. That we need not to know what the mother-in-law, where she is, and what have you." And told the attorney
Mm-hmm.
that he recommends that they move the title from us and give it to another title company who would be more not so
Invasive.
invasive or interested in who the sellers are.
Okay.
So they pulled the property from us,
Mm-hmm.
and they went to another title company. Lo and behold, we get a call after we don't have the file
Mm-hmm.
from the mother-in-law.
Mm.
Somehow the mother-in-law got wind that they were selling this property.
Mm-hmm.
So, question: how can the mother-in-law call us if she's incapacitated?
The incapacitated mother-in-law gives you a
And
call.
she has dementia. The mother-in-law had no idea that the husband was selling the property.
Mm.
Case in point, the property was sold.
Mm-hmm.
Mother-in-law had no idea that the girlfriend signed, from what I understand, either the girlfriend signed or they had a power of attorney for the
Okay.
mother-in-law saying that she was incapacitated.
Okay.
Mother-in-law is not incapacitated.
Mm-hmm.
It was a fortunate power of attorney. Mother-in-law is suing the husband,
Mm-hmm.
suing the attorney, suing the girlfriend, suing the title company.
Mm.
Luckily, it was
wasn't.
taken from us. If the buyer did not have title insurance, defending that property would be on their dime.
Mm-hmm.
They would have to pay for an attorney to go to court for them to defend that. So title insurance will defend that buyer for anything which is a covered risk, to make sure that they will defend their ownership right to that property. We had another example that we caught. This was when I first got started, where a man and woman came to the closing. They were sitting close to each other. They were whispering in each other's ear. They were laughing and joking. Okay, so we went through the package with the buyer. So now it's time for us to go to the seller and to have them, look at the deed, affidavit title, and all the other good stuff that we go through. Sign the seller residency form, and give us 2 forms of ID.
Okay.
Husband and so-called wife said, "Oh, we left it in the car."
Mm-hmm.
They went out, never came back.
Okay.
It was the husband and the girlfriend trying to sell the property from the wife.
Mm.
So there's certain things that we come across as being the FBI or the CIA in the title thing. That's an example of some of the things that why title insurance is important, and some of the stories that we have that over the 30 years.
Thank you, Richard. We're going to take one last short break, and we're going to come back and finish up our conversation right after this message.
People ask what makes Collegiate Title stand out from other title companies. 3 main things that we do. We are commitment driven. We are committed to our clients. We are committed to quality service. We are committed to doing the job correctly. We are committed to the needs of our clients. We are time tested. We've been around for 30 years. We're battle proven. In title insurance, we are the watchdogs of the transaction. We are making sure that the seller is capable and able and has the right and ability to convey property from themselves to the new buyer. That they are the actual sellers of the property and they have the right to do that. So this is what we do, and this is something that we take very seriously, that we are committed to the American dream.
And we are back. My name is Tyrone McCloud, and my guest is Richard Ransom Jr. And we're going to wrap up with this last segment. I have another question for you, Richard. How does Collegiate Title Corporation set itself apart, like in the marketplace, in terms of services and unique services and the approach that you offer?
Why we are who we are
Mm-hmm.
is a good question. Knowledge. We've been around
Mm-hmm.
for a long time. We have experience. We know title. We know the different issues that come up with title. We know how to solve issues
Mm-hmm.
that you will find in the chain of title. Experience goes along with knowledge. We have the expertise. We have the staff. We have the experience to provide a quality product to our clients. Integrity. We're not going to do anything which is going to jeopardize the client.
Mm-hmm.
When I say clients, buyers, sellers,
Mm-hmm.
ourselves. We are who we are, and our names, with our reputation is very important to us. Our commitment.
Mm-hmm.
We are committed to help everyone. That's why I got into the business.
Mm-hmm.
There was a void in the title as far as services that were offered to a segment of the public that I felt was not given the right attention.
Mm-hmm.
Customer service. We do it one deal at a time.
Mm-hmm.
We're not the largest, not the smallest, but every client, whether it be buyer, seller, realtor, attorney, is important to us. And we treat them like they are our family. And dedication. We're dedicated to the procurement of safe, sound, and reliable title insurance.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we do. That's why we do it. So that's why I think that we set ourselves apart in the marketplace.
Final question for our listeners who are considering buying a home. Two-part question, really. Like, what kind of advice would you give them regarding protecting their property? Part one, and part two is, where do you see the industry moving in the next 5 to 10 years?
All right. Buyers of property, in my opinion, they should really
Mm-hmm.
engage quality professionals, a quality realtor, uh, attorney, if they so choose to. As you know, Jersey is two different states: North Jersey and South Jersey.
Yes.
North Jersey, in my North Jersey office,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I would say about 90% of that is attorney driven.
Yes.
Down here, I would say maybe 80% do not use attorneys.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Realtor, attorney, lenders, home inspections, HOA, all the professionals that are involved in this transaction, they should be quality people.
Mm-hmm.
Ones that they can rely on, ones that you have you as being a realtor recommended, and they should follow your lead because you are the professional in the business, and you're recommending the different professionals to your client. And you don't want to do anything that will jeopardize your client because that's your
Right.
client.
Right.
And the same way that we're not going to let or convey a property which is not in the proper condition.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, get the proper professionals on your team. Also for buyers, make sure you are understand how you're taking ownership of the property.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're taking it as a sole owner,
Mm-hmm.
you're buying it by yourself. If you're buying with somebody, if it's not your spouse, or you're buying as tenants in common,
Okay.
where if one person dies, the person who dies, their interest goes to their heirs,
Mm-hmm.
or you buy it with joint tenant provided survivorship, which means that one person dies, that interest goes to the party who bought the property with them. If you are married,
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be joint. It's going to be tenants and authorities. Uh, if it's a civil union, it's going to be similar to tenants and authorities. So let the attorney or let your realtor know how you're taking
Mm-hmm.
ownership, because that's going to be on the deed.
Okay.
So
Okay.
if something happens to somebody, they're going to go back to the deed. So, well, how do you take ownership?
Mm-hmm.
Tenants in common, joint tenants right of survivorship, tenants authority. That's very important. So make sure that you identify that to your realtor or to your attorney. Uh, Listen to the advice
Mm-hmm.
of the professionals. If they tell you that you should do A, B, and C, don't do X, Y, and Z, because they're
Right.
there to walk you through the process.
Right.
That's my advice
Mm-hmm.
um, to home buyers, whether it be first time or return buyers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I left out lenders. Make sure you have a quality lender.
Right.
Make sure that you shop around and listen what the realtor says as far as getting the lender who is going to give you the right products. If you're doing a um, a grant by the state, make sure that you
Mm-hmm.
understand what that means. Is it forgivable? Is it a income restricted? Make sure you understand the
Mm.
process. Even though you have attorneys, even though you have a
Mm-hmm.
realtor and title
Mm-hmm.
company, make sure that you, as the buyer, understand the process.
That is awesome advice. That is
Okay.
awesome advice. Now, tell me a little bit about on that second part of the question. Like, where do you think the industry is moving toward in the next 5 to 10 years?
Good question. Uh, as you probably know, uh, Rocket Mortgage has bought Redfin and somebody else. I'm not sure,
Mm-hmm.
but the industry is moving in a direction where uh, either it's going to get real large, it's going to be a certain amount of players, or
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, it also is moving towards a lot of AI.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, 10 years ago or 15 years ago, Tyrone, as you know, there wasn't where you could see a home on TV or on your laptop,
Right.
to give you a visual of the property.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can sit home and look at 10 properties and
Walk through them,
walk through
virtual
all
walkthrough, everything.
virtual walkthrough. Uh, Now you have a lot of staging, what you didn't have before 10,
Mm-hmm.
15 years ago. So it's moving uh, in a good direction, I think, as far as helping the consumer.
Mm-hmm.
But no matter what direction it's moving to, you can't take out the personal attention or the personal touch that a
Mm-hmm.
realtor gives to their client. Because that's very important.
Right.
That you get a quality realtor, a quality attorney, a quality lender, quality title company. Even though the title
Mm-hmm.
company doesn't say to the very end, you want to have a title company that is going to do their due diligence
Mm-hmm.
and make
Mm-hmm.
sure that they are not skipping over something or just doing something just to do the deal. And if something is missed, they say, "Oh well, yeah, it's on you. We're not going to do that."
Okay. So, in closing, um, let's tell our viewers how they can get in touch with Collegiate Title Corporation.
Okay. Our corporate office is located at 110 Marta Avenue, Suite 107, Morristown, New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Phone number is 866-977-0990. It's 866-977-0990. Our email address is packages, like a gift, packages at collegiatetitle.com. Our North Jersey office, 33 Wood Avenue in
Mm-hmm.
Island. It's at the corner of the Turnpike and Garden State Parkway, and it's right in front of the Metro Park train station. So it's
Mm.
very convenient for everybody. All right. We're there. Call us. We have the website is www.collegiatetitlecorporation.com. So we're here to help you. You can call us, email us, go on our website to communicate with us. We've been around for 30 years. We're going to be around for another 30 years. So hopefully, knock wood. Uh, but we are here and we're dedicated to the procurement of safe, sound, and reliable title insurance. My name is Richard Ransom. I am the owner, founder of Collegiate Title Corporation.
All right. Thank you, Richard. I want to close by saying thank you for coming to the show.
My pleasure.
I want to thank you for imparting all that, not that 30 years worth of knowledge. And I'm sure there's, we have at least a couple more hours or days of knowledge that you can impart. But I want to thank you for the knowledge that you did share today. And thank you to Ellis Realty Group Unlocked. And the name of this segment was The Hidden Shield, which you provide for home buyers and things like that. So,
Okay.
again, thank you for the knowledge.
My pleasure. Thank you
All right.
very much, sir.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.